So we can see culture through symbols and artifacts. We can see it through rites and rituals. We can also see it through stories and legends. Legends are actual events that have been embellished. So Reagan is a great example of this. The Republican Party like idolizes Reagan because I think because he was really integral in kind of a golden era of conservatism in the United States. And he like really kind of ushered Republicans back into a really dominant position in American politics. And yet, no one, conservatives don't talk about the fact that Reagan was pro-immigration reform. He raised taxes 7 times, and there were things that Reagan did where he wouldn't be electable as a Republican today. But he's still this legend of like, this is what we respect. This is what we go after. Legends are prescriptive. That is, they tell you how you are supposed to act. Aesop's fables are prescriptive legends, right? That all of these stories have a moral, that you're supposed to walk away with an understanding of how you are supposed to behave in a certain situation, or what characteristics are valued or encouraged within this culture. Example of a business legend is Steve Jobs, right? This idea of just having this incredible vision, and the idea that he single-handedly made Apple a powerhouse, and when he left, Apple collapsed, and he came back and he single-handedly did it again, and he did it with just this amazing vision, and his tough, like, get the most work out of people as possible and get the best ideas out of people through this tough approach and focusing on performance over people is idolized, and it's a legend in Silicon Valley. So we see culture through symbols and artifacts, rites and rituals, stories and legends, and then lastly we see culture through the language that people use. Language and communication is about how information is shared or conveyed within an organization. And every organization has its own jargon. Industries have their own jargon. All my friends who became consultants after grad school, they're always like, oh, hey, ping me sometime soon. Or like, what's your go forward item on this? And I'm like, what are you talking about? And it's this jargon that people use in business, right? Language conveys culture as well. So when you go to Subway, the person that makes you a sandwich is not the sandwich maker. It is the sandwich artist, right? Because they convey the love that they put into their sandwich. People that work at Disneyland are not employees. They are cast members because they're putting on a show. They're putting on a play for everyone who's there. And everyone who works there is a part of that play, that story. In psychology, we used to call the people that we run experiments on, we used to call them subjects, but now we call them participants. We called them subjects. We don't call them subjects anymore because we're not subjecting them to research. They are participating in research. Likewise, therapists used to refer to the people they saw as patients, but that sounds like they're sick. And so now we call them clients. So these are the practical, concrete ways in which we see culture, the ways we pick up that vibe when we walk into a building or a company. Through symbols and artifacts, which are physical objects that convey meaning. Rites and rituals, which are planned, formal, social interactions. Stories and legends, which are embellishments of the truth that have a prescriptive element to them. And then language and communication, which is how we share information within the organization.